screen? I have some
Yeah,
videos.
absolutely.
Okay. Are you recording also? Or
I
can it?
will. I will. Yeah, as soon as yeah.
Okay.
Can you share now?
Screen, I have some
Oh, there you should. Yeah,
videos.
absolutely.
Yes, I'm able to, but I don't want to share right this minute.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, September 23rd at 10 a.m. 2024. My name is James Hongs. I'm the founder of telehealthtoday.net, which is launching on November 1st. So please join us. We got a lot going on. You can check out other videos. But today, as always, we have a special guest. Today, I'd like to introduce you guys to Dr. Peggy Woods. She has a master's in theology and a doctorate in ministry. She is the founder of Right Now Publishing Company, international keynote speaker, #1 international best-selling author, publisher, and writing coach. She helps busy entrepreneurs write best-selling books, which can help them gain credibility, leverage, and influence that leaves a lasting legacy. She's here today to share with us how to write and finish a book that leaves an impact on your reader's life to make their transformation real. Dr. Peggy, it is a pleasure and a privilege to have you. Thank you for being here. The stage is yours.
Thank you for inviting me. I just want to thank you and thank everyone for being here. I mean, you could have been anywhere. And also those who are watching the recording, thank you so much for spending your time with us. And of course, I'd like to thank James for hosting me and for being such an innovative creator of telehealth, as well as Warmer, his trusted colleague. So I want to get started with what I'm going to talk about. But did you know that 97% of people who start writing a book never finish? It's true. But today, don't worry, because I'm going to show you some of my favorite tips on how to write and finish your book. But before I do you mind if I tell you a little story? Is that okay? Okay. Thank you. So, in the early 2000s, I was married with children, right? But what most people didn't know is that it was an abusive marriage most of the time. You see, my husband, Gerald, and I were married young. I was 18 and he was 23. And we had three beautiful children. And on the outside, we looked like the perfect couple when we walked down the street or when we were around friends. But behind closed doors, he called me all kinds of names and he hit me when I didn't agree with him. Well, in that relationship, I lost my identity, I lost my voice, and I felt like a prisoner in my own home. So in an instance that I want in the fact that I wanted to communicate with him how I felt, I decided after all that time, I decided, you know what, I'm going to write him a letter and I'm going to put some poetry in here. And I wrote the letter and I added poetry, but he kind of dismissed it. He never said anything about it. He never said, I got the letter or anything. But for me, it was therapy. I rush home from work, go to my computer, and write until it was time to eat and go to bed. And every day I did this. Well, I started just reciting poetry to some of the women's group, and I would just be reading along, and it was so quiet, you could hear a pin drop. And when I looked up, the women were weeping. And so for them, it was therapy too. Well, Gerald came to me and said, I don't want you to write this poetry anymore. I don't want you to recite it. Matter of fact, I want you to tear it up and throw it away. But you know what? I couldn't, because I had finally found just a little piece of myself, and I wasn't willing to let it go. So after over 20 years of marriage, my kids were grown, I finally got the courage to leave Gerald. And I left him for the freedom to write. So I went on to be a journalist. I published 5 books, 5 Easy Steps for Self-Publishing, 10 Tips for Power Thinking to help you overcome adversity like I did, and An Image of a Woman from a Hebrew Perspective, along with some other ebooks. And I felt that Image of a Woman was good because it helped me to understand that I was valuable, and it helps other women understand that they are valuable also. So you see, I was destined to write. I went to a conference, and the coach, he was good at helping entrepreneurs grow their business. And he asked if anyone wanted to be anointed. And I said, well, I do. I want to be anointed. And so after the retreat, we went in the back room, and he and his wife accompanied all of us there. And he looked on the shelf and pulled down this jar of oil, this little jar, and he put it on his hands, and then he rubbed it on my hands. And that day, I felt the power of the Holy Spirit. I didn't know what would happen. I didn't know what would turn out after that. But within 1 month, in 2007, I established Right Now Publishing Company. So you see, I teach busy entrepreneurs how to write books so that they can gain credibility, leverage their influence, and leave a legacy. But the problem is, most people won't write their books. And if you don't tell your story, the person that really needs to hear it, they won't hear it. And ultimately, you'll take your book to the grave with you. So I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for those who need to have their voice heard, and that their voice not be silenced like mine was. So right now, I want to give you some of my favorite tips on how to write a book, how to finish it, and how to make it impactful. So, and I'm going to share my screen right now with you. And then I will open up for questions in a moment. Okay. Can you all see my screen? It says health benefits associated with writing. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to start with this. You know, there are health benefits associated with writing. During our life and time, we go through a lot of stress. And due to the stress of our lives, we can get high blood pressure, we can have stomach problems, we can have cancer. But believe it or not, writing helps to release some of those stresses. So writing, it reduces stress and changes your mood. I mean, when I write, I feel free. I feel release, and I just feel like I'm in the zone, so to speak. Also, writing helps with thinking. It helps with clarity, focus, and creativity for our mental health. The longer or more consistent we write, with breaks, of course, the more benefits we receive. Now, writing also helps you to talk out traumatic situations. I remember when a friend of mine who owned a newspaper asked me to write an article about abuse. And it was very, very difficult to write that. As a matter of fact, many times I got up from the table and stopped and said, I can't do it. When my neighbor Jackie knocked on my door, just at the moment I was about to quit. And she asked me, she said, Peggy, did you see or did you hear anything yesterday about 10 a.m.? I'm like, no, I had taken my my father bowling, so I didn't hear anything. Well, she said, Ron tried to smother me. He tried to smother me with a pillow, and he had been abusive to her. And so at that very moment, I knew I had to write my story. I knew I had to get it out because there were other people who had gone through this as well. And it went viral on Facebook, over 1,100 posts and reposts of that story. Now, there's many reasons. Well, that was tip number one is the health benefits. Tip number two is, well, this is tip number three. Sorry, I'm out of order here. But most people won't write for several reasons because they don't believe they can. And it's a lie. There's a thing called imposter syndrome. Now, imposter syndrome is usually something that someone who has experience in an area of business, and then they say, well, I'm not qualified to write a book. They don't believe they can write it when yet they're experts in their business. And that's a lie. Too little time. Well, if you are strategic about your time, you will write the book. And if you're motivated, you will have time. And also, if you have a partner to help you for accountability, you will have time. And as a writing coach, that's what I do. Some people are looking for perfection. They think it has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect, but there is no such thing as perfection. What you have to do is get past yourself and think about the person who you're going to help when you write your book. And people don't know where to start, don't believe they're good enough, don't know how. Well, I always tell my clients, you don't have to know how. You just have to know what you want to write and why you want to write it. And that why has to be compelling, so compelling that when times get tough and you want to quit, like I did with my article, you won't, because you know that somebody's life could possibly be hinging on your story. So this is tip number three today. It's for journaling. Journaling is a great way to develop the habit of writing to become a published author. And I have tips on journaling as well. So why journal? Okay, first of all, journaling daily creates a habit. And in order to get you to that 3% of those who finish their book, you need to create a habit. It also encourages gratitude because at the end of the day, when you start writing down what happened with you that day, some may be good, some may be bad, but overall, you're still here. So it also helps you to become more conversational. The more you write, the more you have to talk about because you're taking what's in your brain and you're putting it on paper. And then it's reminded when you're in conversation, you're reminded of those things that you actually journal. Journaling stimulates storytelling because you will tell your stories in your journal. And I'll talk a little bit more about storytelling in a minute. So, what I like, the number one reason I find you should journal is because, especially when it comes to writing, okay, you should journal for all of those reasons I named. But when it comes to writing, journaling helps you stay in order and in order. Now, if you look at the picture, this lady's journal, she has some prompts. So she's writing within those prompts. I mean, you can have more space within those prompts, but those prompts are helping her to stay in order, and if you are not in order, then when you write, you're going to write all over the place, and the editor is going to have a very difficult time understanding what your point is and how to edit your work. So it's best to journal, in my opinion, in an orderly fashion. If you have a story you want to tell that one story at a time. If you went to the zoo and you saw the most interesting thing you saw was the llama, then you want to talk about that. You want to tell about the llama. And then you can go on and tell about the other things that you experienced at the zoo. But most of all, have fun with it. Be creative. You can write in your journal. You can record your journal. And you can use a journaling app. I noticed on my phone, there's an app that comes up. If I spend, it's like more than an hour at a location, it says, how was it at the zoo? Journaling app. So now I'm reminded that I can journal about the zoo. Now, I personally don't put this in my app, but I will come home and write it in my journal because I like to write. So, tip number 3, transparency or authenticity. Okay. So it's important as a writer and speaker to be authentic. It's important to be transparent. Just like I was transparent with you about my story, you have to be transparent in your book because that connects you with the person, with your reader, with your audience. It tells your audience they're not alone. The things that you've actually experienced, will help them feel better about what they're going through. It will guide and direct your audience. So you should tell the whole painful story with discretion. And I have to add discretion because there may be some intimate pieces that you might not want to say. There are some names you might not want to mention, or it may be a story that you can't tell because you can be sued for defamation of character. So you must be careful when you are telling your true story. And this is what we're talking about, nonfiction true stories. You also want to talk to your audience, not at your audience. Talking at your audience would be, well, if you encounter this situation where you have been misused or abused, you should do da 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 da. That's a narrative, but you want to say what you encountered. I went through this, I encountered this, and I learned this, and this is what I did that was beneficial. So you want to tell it from the first person, so to speak. Now, the 4th tip is authenticity and AI. So many people ask me, and I'm going to stop sharing. Oh, let me see. Where's my stop share here? Okay, I'm back. So many people ask me, how is AI affecting your business? Okay. And I pretty much it's not affecting my business in the sense that the people that I like to work with or want to work with me, they're creative thinkers. They want to write their story. They want to tell their story. They want to tell it like they want to tell it. They may have a process or procedure that they want to tell. They want to tell it like they want to tell it. And they are creative. They want to think. And most of all, at the end of the day, they want that feeling, that really good feeling that you get when you say, I wrote my book. Also, now, does that mean I don't use AI? Yes, I do use AI. And before I go into that, I'm going to ask, are there any questions? Before I go into AI, talking about AI, are there any questions that you may have?
I have one regarding AI, but I think you're probably going to answer it, so I'm going to let you finish first. And if you don't answer it, then I'll come back to it.
Okay. Everybody always waits for AI, and I have some ways that I use it that are very beneficial. So let me try. I want to show you. Okay, so I use AI for different reasons, and I want to show you how I use AI. Okay, let me see here. I'm going to share with you how I use AI. So give me just 1 second to open it. Okay, so, and I do use a free version too, by the way. But here we go. Oh, I don't think you see my screen. Let me stop it. Let me do this again. So I do use GPT, and I use it for many reasons. Okay, one of the ways that I use it is for research. For example, when you write a book, you need to know who you're writing to. In your business, you need to know your target market. You need to know where they live, what they like, how to find them, how to communicate with them. And AI will quickly go through the internet search engine to answer these questions. Okay, so for example, in March, I asked AI, I said, what social media platforms can I find my target market? They are busy entrepreneurs who want to write a nonfiction book for credibility, influence, and legacy. And so this was AI's answer. For your target market, you might find them on LinkedIn, as it is a platform of professional and including entrepreneurs often gather to network and share insights. Facebook groups focused on entrepreneurship or writing could also be a good place to connect with them. Additionally, Twitter and Instagram can be valuable for researching this audience depending on the content and approach you use. And this asked me, do I already have a presence on these platforms? So this is very helpful because now I don't have to wonder where my audience is. Not only do I see where my audience is most prevalent, it tells me why. And that will now help me to direct my writing to that type of person. I used to hear because I'm starting a gardening blog, and I wanted to know, so I'm writing a blog about gardening and the life lessons you can learn from it. What are some of the keywords that I can use to increase my ranking? So now I'm asking about SEOs, and it's giving me all of these, they can either be subjects to talk about, like seasonal gardening, or it could just, I can put those phrases in my blog. And these are related to gardening, life lessons, and other keywords that I can use. I do also use Facebook, I mean, not Facebook, I use AI for my clients when their titles are not quite, for, exciting enough or impactful enough. Then I will put in Lucy's journey. She went through a journey of trafficking, right? And it gives me these titles. I tell them, they come from AI, and you might want to mix them up or whatever, but you need to know that when you get information from AI, if you say AI, I want to write a book about telehealth, health, and then it just writes it for you, then you'll get a pop-up, and the pop-up will say that you have to give reference to your source. Okay, so I'm going to show you one other place. I use Grammarly for um, corrections and for plagiarism. Because if you don't cite your source, you could be sued for plagiarism. So I took this exact quote, all this from AI, took that from AI, and I asked it to give me a way to talk about a specific story I wrote. It said this: well, first of all, I don't talk like this. In the vast expanse of the desert where the scorching sun beats down relentlessly, life seems like an improbable feat. I don't talk like that, number one. Number two, if you see these blue lines mean that there is plagiarism, you need to cite a source, because this is not original. It's something that came from somewhere. So this particular part, okay, so it could come from the internet or it can come from AI. If it comes from the internet, it will tell me right here that this text matches this particular watch the seeding. It could be an article. It came from there. Some text came from the whispers of the wind. I can go and look it up. I could cite it if I was going to use it. But what's alarming is down here, 25% of my document matches external sources, other people's information, and 49% matches AI generated. And you have to put that down in your footnotes. If it's AI generated, you will not be able to use this information. If you wrote a book on AI, for example, and you want to be bestseller, you cannot be bestseller because they're gonna search for AI, and they're gonna say, no, you didn't write this book, can't be bestseller. Number two, one of the footnotes may be, and oh well, I'm sorry, that's the wrong thing. This is telling you how to write a footnote, but one of the footnotes may be an AI footnote. It may literally you may literally have to write that footnote was an AI footnote, because this is my plagiarism for AI tags. The crazy thing about it too is, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't want to put in my footnotes it came from AI. I don't know about you, but I don't want to do that because I don't feel like it's 100% reputable. And it does tell you in Chat GPT at the bottom, check your facts, because everything is not accurate. And number two, gardening techniques. I got to generate a citation from AI for that. That's ridiculous, because gardening techniques, anybody could say gardening techniques, right? I mean, that's not anything that AI really did. And then my friend, he wrote, well, one of the clients I'm working with on a book collaboration, he wrote this: I invite you to share this journey. AI saying it's plagiarism. It's in, you got to go and you have to cite the source. The source for this is, could be anything. I mean, we all say that at some point in time. So this is not really, AI is not really, in my opinion, it's not nothing, it's not anything I want to write my book from. You have to be careful with plagiarism, and you want to be authentic. And if you want to write a book and you really want to write it with your own words, I would recommend that you do that. Okay. So were there questions about any questions?
I have one, and I appreciate all that you've said and covered. So let's say we got somebody watching this video, and they like the idea of writing a book. They know something they want to write a book on, but they got a busy life. They've never got around to it. So my two questions would be, first one is, what do you recommend they do to first get started? I mean, just jump in and write, no, or, how does someone get started? And then my second question is, at what point do they call you? And then how are you going to help take them to the next level?
Okay. If you want to just get started with carving out time so that you can make writing a habit, then I would recommend that they journal. And I would recommend that they journal in categories, not just, say anything, that they take, they go think about, like if you had an experience where your cat got caught in a tree or something, right? Maybe you want to put that story in your book. Your book could be about anything, about getting caught, getting stuck, but you want to talk about that story. You want to tell that story. You want to say, hey, you know, it was a rainy day and I'm looking for Fluffy and I couldn't find Fluffy anywhere. And so then you want to start telling that story, but you want to always tell one thing at a time, one story at a time, one situation at a time. That's how I recommend you get started with journaling or just writing just different stories. Secondly, it's best if you want to start writing it, it's best to start with me up front. And the reason why is because I'm like any coach, I'm going to walk you through the process. I'm going to get you organized. I'm going to help you to flush out all of those things that may not that may be hidden, which there will always be. I'm going to ask you questions. I'm going to even give you assignments. I'm going to say, okay, this is your assignment for today. And then I usually meet with my one-on-one individuals once a week. However, one-on-one can be expensive, but I have small group coaching classes, master classes. I'll have one start in January, and we will walk through the process as a small group. I usually don't take over 5 or 6 people. We walk through the process. I talk for no more than 30 minutes, but I give you writing time. And then I give you a bonus hour writing time. So if you have 2 hours a week, if you find 2 hours a week, you'll be writing for at least an hour. And instead of doing your journaling time in the evening at the end of the day, you spend it as a writing hour. So the best way is to start with the writing coach immediately. Then you don't get sidetracked. You don't get caught up in just not being organized. That you're organized from the beginning. And I give you one-on-one coaching calls once a month. So that master class is six months. And we meet for an hour, another hour bonus time, and I give you one-on-one coaching calls. And you should be able to finish the 6 months. If it's very long, you might not be able to, but you will be on track. So that's my advice. And my other advice is don't stop, finish it.
That's very good. Thank you. And then once they have the material together, once they have the book, do you actually help them publish it and advertise it too so that it reaches people?
Okay, so I do help edit it for publish it. I can publish it for you. We can edit it, we can publish it. We will give you marketing tips inside of your book as well. Inside of your book, you will have marketing tips like your bio page, how to make it effective. You're putting plugs inside the book about your business and different little tips like that. But as far as marketing, I have a couple of marketers that are pretty good. Matter of fact, we have a book coming out, an anthology of writers. Each writer wrote a chapter. It's coming out October 1st. It's called Trilogy. I mean, not Trilogy, not Trilogy. It's called Trajectory. And it's like taking most of the people have a painful process how they overcame it. Some of them are writing about their business. A lot of them write about their business. And it's coming out October 1st. It will be marketed, and you'll see it on Facebook. You see it everywhere. We will market it for the bestseller campaign. And so that's something that's coming out. But yes, I'll help you do it from start to end.
That's good. That's good. And I guess one kind of follow-up question with that. Let's say I come to you and hey, I got this great idea for a book. What's going to be your first assignment? Are you going to ask them, hey, tell it to me right now, or during the first meeting, or are you going to say write a one-page summary, or how do you hone in on what do you do with that first step?
Okay. Well, first of all, when you meet, I ask to meet with you one-on-one, and I ask you some questions in the meeting. You're thinking about writing a book, you know what you want to write about, why do you want to write about, who is it for? And so we will determine, number one, is it something that will sell, right? So maybe you want to write about globes. Katrina, I see Katrina's globe. And you think they're so good because they can show you where the world, what's on the world and where it's located. But I mean, how many people want to hear about globes, right? So we will talk about that, and then we will go through, once we get started, we'll go through some outlines, on what is it you want to write about. We may even go into AI and say, okay, what do people want to hear about, right? Because you can know what you want to write about, and that's good. But in addition, people may want to hear about, like nowadays, people want to hear about bestseller, So my definition of bestseller is writing a book that people don't want to put down. That's my definition. Now I can get you, help you with my marketing team, get you to bestseller on Amazon, but the bestseller book doesn't mean that it's impactful, because you could go for bestseller and get that bestseller that one time and then never use it. This book right here is not an Amazon bestseller, but I use this book all the time with a workbook for my masterminds to help people change their perspective. So it all depends on what you want. And it's, whatever it is, it's okay.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's a really good point, because you could write a dictionary and it could be a bestseller, but you're not going to impact anybody's life. So that's a good point. No, I appreciate it.
Hi, Miss Ali. Did you have a question?
Hi, Dr. Peggy.
Hi.
It was a nice session. I really enjoyed listening to it.
Thank you.
Would you suggest some topics that are good for writing a book that you think people are interested to read about, or is it just your personal choice?
It's your personal experiences, right?
Okay.
Whatever you've experienced in your life that you think other people may have experienced or are experiencing at the time, those are
Yeah.
the best things for you to write about.
Right.
Yes.
So they're not some common topics that people want to listen about, and
Well,
we write about those.
well, there's a lot of topics you could talk about. I mean, I had my experience with abuse. You could talk about marketing. You could talk about selling. I'm gonna write about writing the best book, but they're all from my experiences, right?
Right.
And so it's usually just like with making money, you want to write to solve a problem. If you could solve a problem, you can sell many books. If you can solve a problem, you can make a lot of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Solve a problem, get it out there from a marketer, then that's what you want to write about. But as far as topics, it could be anything. I mean, you could go and Google like the number one topics people want to hear about right now. That's what I would do if I want to just write and see if any of my what I have experience in fits in there.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can do. Then that would be a way to do it. You can ask, go chat GPT and ask, say,
ChatGPT. Yeah.
yeah, just say,
So like,
mhm.
carry on, please.
I'm sorry.
You carry on. Sorry, I interrupted in the
Oh, no,
middle.
I was just going to say, but just make sure that you know about that, whatever you're going to write about at that topic.
Yeah. So any common problems, and if you have a solution, you can write a book on it. Is it
Mhm.
like that?
Whatever you experience that you feel like people will want to know,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no prerequisite that you need to read this much of books before you write one, or
Oh no,
because these days
I,
nobody's
I
reading any books
not
anymore.
at all. There's no prerequisite that you have to have a degree, go to school. I mean, I didn't even know I was going to be a writer. That's how I became a writer. The story, if you heard my story, I didn't even know I had a gift of writing.
Yeah.
So no,
It's
you
a
don't
skill.
have
You
any.
have the skill, right?
Well, I didn't know I did, but yeah, you know what I mean? I discovered I had a skill, but my skill is to help other people write.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you have the skill or not, I can help you. Now, if writing and I mean, I only speak English. So if you want to write a book to in another language, I can help you with that.
Mm-hmm.
But to be able to articulate it, we can work through that. Yeah, we can
Right.
work through the language.
And for publishing, do you need investment, or you can go to someone, pitch them, and if they like your idea and they like the book, they will publish it for you? How does that work?
If you okay, that's a traditional publisher. If you want to pitch your book to a traditional publisher, you can. And they will look at it and say, okay, I like it. They might make you make changes and so forth. I help with self-publishing, meaning that
Oh,
you can publish it and put it out there and market it and everything. Traditional
mhm.
publisher will help you market it. They some cases they own the rights to your book if
Yeah.
they pay you for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a couple ways. There's hybrid too, which is kind of a mix of both traditional
Mm.
and self.
Right. And how do you make them the best sellers?
The
'Cause you
that's a
you
whole
have some.
nother talk for a whole nother.
We would
I
love to
would
hear
encourage
about
you
it as well.
to connect with me, and I will leave my You'll be able to connect with me because I have a free gift for everybody. So you'll be able
Really.
to connect with me that way, and that's a whole book, really,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Right.
on how to do that.
Yeah.
But,
Thank you
but
so much for the session. Really
you're welcome.
appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
I just have something to add on that. I think another answer, to add to Dr. Imam's question, yeah, I think first when you're going to write a book, and this is what I get the impression that Dr. Peggy can help you with, is first define your intention, right? Some people might write a book to make money, to get famous, but to solve a problem, and that's where she came in the beginning of this meeting. And I very much commend you for it because it came from the heart. They say the person that needs you the most is going through what you were going through at your weakest point. And for you, it was your neighbor when she knocked on the door and said the pillow, right? And so, yeah, no, that's awesome. And so you're getting, it's just power. You know, if you want it bad enough, you'll make it happen. That's what you did, and that's why you can help others. So that's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. It's good.
Yes. And it's the why. Thank you, yes, for that interjection. I appreciate that. But I want to I know we have just a few more minutes, and I want to talk about writing with impact. And so the best way to impact your audience is to tell stories, and so that you can connect with them. And I'm just going to read just a quick little excerpt from my book where I make the story visual in your mind, right? So that you can see it and feel it and experience it. Now, let me get that. Okay, so I like to, this chapter is called Vision. I like to think about the things that I want to happen in life because the visualization of my dreams and goals, it makes me happy. Visualizing paints a picture in the mind of the reader and mentally brings me closer to what I want to experience in life. So last winter, I was sitting in my living room, enjoying the sound of the rain hitting the sidewalk and the echo of the planes flying over. Brilliant flames illuminated through red cinnamon candles in my fireplace. A blanket and hot cocoa warmed me inside and out as I typed on my laptop. Using all of my senses, I could smell the cinnamon in the air, taste the sweet white chocolate, and I could hear the raindrops bouncing on my rooftop. The sound of rain was so relaxing and sent my thoughts into faraway places. And I imagined myself traveling to the continent of Africa. So did you kind of go with me on that journey?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
feel ourselves to be there.
Yeah. And then one thing that I did that's gonna be probably the last thing I mentioned is I talked about seeing, hearing, smelling the cinnamon. And so if you are a visual person, you could see. I use the word see. If you are a audible person or audio person, you could hear.
The sound of the rain.
If you are kinesthetic with feeling and touching, you could feel. So I didn't just talk to one aspect of my audience. I talked to my total audience to bring them in to my story. So I teach you how to tell stories and how to, bring your audience into your story so that you capture their attention. And so I really, really appreciate you guys listening. And so because you were such good listeners, I have a gift for you. And I'm going to put it on the screen. Well, if I can find one. Well, I tell you how you can get the gift. What the gift is first. Okay. First, it's I'm going to have a webinar, just a 2-hour free webinar, and we're going to talk about getting clients by building your contact list. Now, you might want to know why I want to do that. The reason why is because I feel like the best way for you to be impactful is to be able to build your contact list so that you can get clients. And so this webinar is going to help you to learn how to grow your contact list and get more clients. And to receive this, you can text the word leads to 866-217-4813. And I'm going to share that with you.
Can I ask a question regarding that? When you talk about getting clients, is that specifically for book writing or for anybody?
This is for everybody, and it's kind of strange because I wait, I'm trying to find my Zoom. I can't lose it. Let me see. Let me find Zoom. So I believe in solving problems, right? And I feel like the problem that one of the reasons why people don't finish a book is because they can't afford it. And I'm just being transparent. They can't afford it. So they can't afford it, but the reason they can't afford it is because they don't have leads, a contact list, right? So if you're going to do marketing, you need a contact list of people to market to. And when you get the contact list of people to market to, when you have a program, you can market to that program and they can buy the program and say they can buy the program that I have, my small group book writing program. They can buy your marketing program, James Warner. They can buy your program for which you are excellent marketer. Either they could buy your program, but it's related, but it's not related. So I like to give this program to help you build your contact list so that if you want to write a book, you have somebody to sell it to. You want to write a program, you have somebody to sell it to. So like you asked, James, this is going to be good for your book, and it's a lead magnet. It's called lead magnet. So your lead magnet, your best lead magnet is a book, an ebook even. So then maybe later on, I'll talk to you about how you can create a quick ebook, and that's another program that's going to come up. But in the meantime, let's build your contact list so that you can get clients and you can offer them something free, an ebook, and then can go on from there.
Can I get more patients on my platform by attending your webinar? They're also like clients.
Can you get more patients on your platform?
Patients, yeah.
Are you a nurse?
I'm a doctor.
A doctor?
General practitioner, yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess it will work for a doctor.
Right.
Especially, like I do public speaking so that I can get clients.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, I did the same on one
you
of
do
the
social
platforms. I
media.
did sessions on different topics,
Mhm.
and that get me more patients.
Yes,
Right.
definitely. Definitely. Mhm.
Right.
So it's I'm gonna give you just to put the free information here. And this is the current slide, and I need to put it on here like that. So this is me, and
we're not seeing your screen at the
oh,
moment.
you're not seeing it?
No.
Okay. Well, let me end share. Gosh, am I still on? Okay, here we go. So let me go back to the technology. Okay, wait, let me see. Um,
You have to do the screen share, right?
I don't.
There's an option.
I could tell you. Just text the word lead LEAD
Okay.
to 866-217-4813.
2174 2174.
4813. And I know you don't see the screen, but 866
Maybe you can share it on
217.
the group where we can.
I can put it in the chat too. So you're gonna check type the word lead
You're
LEAD.
inaudible now. I know. I can hear you.
So Miss Ali, did you text the word lead to 866?
Yeah, but right now I'm on a call, so I can't text from my phone. It's like,
Okay.
yeah.
So should I put
You
it
have
in?
a LinkedIn account or?
I have LinkedIn, I have Facebook, Alignable, and James did put it in the chat if you want to copy it and paste it, or you can write it down.
Yeah. Send text. Yeah, let me try.
So I do have I am on Facebook.
Messages is not working for me. Maybe some other platform.
Oh, you can't get chat? You don't see the chat?
Yeah, I can see the chat.
Okay. Do you have a pencil and paper?
Yeah, I
Okay.
do.
I'm sorry. I do. I am on Facebook and I am on social media, but then I have to go there and let me see. I can
You can share it on WhatsApp group and we can join you from there.
on WhatsApp.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the easiest
Well, you're
option
talking
for
about the
us.
group. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you guys have trouble, I'll connect you guys. Yeah,
Okay.
just send me a DM and I'll make sure it happens.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you. Can you send it out for me? I don't. I thought this would work, but
I always ask my son to do it for me.
yeah, that's how I
They're
feel.
more
You know.
smarter.
I will have to have Wormer do it for me. Oh, he's pretty good with this kind of stuff. I appreciate you all.
Yeah, it was really nice session.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It was, yeah, I appreciate you guys being here watching. I appreciate you speaking. Any last words?
Well, write your book.
Yeah,
Don't take it to the
perfect.
grave with you. Somebody needs to hear it.
That's perfect. Perfectly said, I think, for final comment. Write your book. That's good.
Yes.
And call Dr. Peggy because she will help you right
I
now.
will help you. And you have my number and everything is, oh, I should have put it right here on the screen. I usually do put it on the screen.
Miss Katrina is sending message on chat. She says,
Mhm.
"Good job, Dr. Peggy. Thank you for the invite."
Oh, thank you. And here's my phone number right here.
Yeah.
It's in the chat, but we're still, oh, there you go, on your name. I see it. Okay.
Mhm.
Very good.
Oh, thank you, Katrina. Okay. I have to learn how to do all of those things, watch the chat, have my information, know my Facebook, but
Yeah.
We're gonna help you
Taught
with
my
that as
mom
well.
to speak to me
Mhm.
through bottom. We can't call much from here, so she now has learned to use bottom just to talk to us. So you learn it. It's not that difficult.
Where are you located?
I'm in Dubai.
Oh,
I'm
Dubai.
working
Okay.
here as a school doctor, yeah. And I
Oh,
work
cool.
for with telemedicine and with another telemedicine platform as well.
Wow, I would love
Yeah.
to. I have some Canadian customers. I would love to reach out a little
Mm-hmm.
more nationally. If you think
Yeah.
that's something I could do in Dubai, I would love to talk about that.
Right. I can tell you whatever you want to know, what that I know.
Well, do they want to write in English?
It's mostly Arabic, but
Okay.
they do have English as well. Yeah. If you go to the library, yeah, it's both actually.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there are expats, there are like people from all over the world. So, yeah, English is also fine for it, but their own language is Arabic.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm gonna end this meeting. You guys can talk for a few minutes after we're done. But great meeting. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. Write the book and book an appointment with Dr. Peggy on telehealthtoday.net starting November 1st. And until next Monday, you guys have a great week.